You spend hours studying at your desk, practicing games seriously, or training hard in sports. You're not lazy. You've been putting in real effort. But somehow, the results don't match. Your skills always seem just one step behind everyone else. And after a while, that feeling starts turning into doubt. Maybe you're just not good enough, no matter how hard you try. At the same time, there are always a few people around you who seem to be good at everything. They study well, play games well, and perform well in sports. What bothers you most isn't just that they're good. It's that they don't even seem to be trying harder than you. And that makes you start believing they have something you don't. But here's the truth. The difference isn't talent. It's how they use their brain. In this video, you're going to understand a very simple but powerful principle from neuroscience. A principle that connects learning, gaming, and physical training. And once you understand it, you'll realize the problem isn't that you lack ability. It's that you've been using the wrong approach. The interesting part is, this doesn't require you to work harder. It only requires a small adjustment in how you practice. And even a tiny shift in your approach can create noticeable results in just a few days. So why can completely different fields, like studying, gaming, and sports, share the same brain mechanism? In Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman explains that the human brain operates through two systems. One is fast and automatic. The other is slow and deliberate. What matters isn't the labels. What matters is how these two systems work together. The fast system allows you to react instantly without thinking. The slow system helps you analyze, adjust, and make conscious decisions. And real performance in any field doesn't depend on which system is stronger. It depends on how well you balance both. For example, when you first start playing a sport like soccer or basketball, every movement is slow and intentional. You think about where to step, how to pass, how to move. That's your slow system at work. But after enough repetition, those movements become automatic. You no longer need to think. Your body reacts almost instantly. That's when the fast system takes over. The same thing happens in studying and gaming. When you first learn a formula or a skill, you need to think through each step carefully. But after enough repetition, you start solving problems quickly without consciously thinking through every detail. So why do you still feel behind, even after practicing so much? The problem isn't how much you practice, it's how you practice. Most people lean too far in one direction. Some people focus only on repetition. They solve many problems, play for hours, or train continuously, but they never stop to deeply understand what they're doing. This builds automatic skill, but without direction. Others overthink everything. They analyze, read, and try to understand deeply, but they don't repeat enough to turn knowledge into instinct. This leads to understanding without performance. When these two systems are out of sync, you'll always feel like something is missing, no matter how much time you put in. The solution is simpler than you think. You don't need to practice more. You need to practice differently. Separate your training into two parts. One part for slow, deliberate thinking. One part for fast, automatic repetition. And to make this easier, start with something very small. During your next session, whether you're studying, gaming, or training, spend just 2 minutes asking yourself one question. What exactly am I trying to improve right now? That's it. Then go back to practicing as usual. It may seem small, but it creates a powerful shift. It activates your deliberate thinking system before you move into repetition. And when you repeat with a clear goal, your brain learns much faster. For example, when studying, instead of just solving problems, pause and ask why a step works before moving on. In gaming, take a few minutes to observe strategy before jumping into action. In training, move slowly at first to refine technique before speeding up. When you start combining these two systems intentionally, something interesting happens. Your progress stops being linear. It starts accelerating. You'll notice moments where your skill suddenly clicks, not because you worked harder, but because your brain finally learned the right way. In the end, the reason you feel behind in different areas isn't because you lack talent or effort. It's because you've been leaning too heavily on one side, either repetition without thinking or thinking without repetition. Real improvement happens when you combine both. Deliberate thinking and automatic repetition working together. You might feel like if you had known this earlier, you would be much better by now. But the truth is, it's not too late. And sometimes real change doesn't come from something big. It starts with something small, like pausing for a moment before continuing. If you try applying this principle today, you'll begin to realize something important. You're not worse than others. You've just been practicing the wrong way. If this helped you rethink how you train, try applying it in your next session. And if you want to keep learning how your brain actually works to improve performance, consider subscribing for more.